Vaccine discrimination has come to Washington State in a big way.
Be advised, we got zips in the wire down here.
Roger, last Bravo 6. Can't run it any closer. We'll have to try and back and snake and nape, but we're bingo fuel.
For the record, it's my call. Dump everything you've got left on my pond. I say again, expend all remaining in my perimeter.
Coming to you from behind the lines in Washington State, local and national talk, news, and opinions. This is the Behind the Line podcast. So Jay Inslee is pushing really hard to get everybody vaccinated so we can open the state back up. You've got really clear-cut discrimination at this point. He's saying special treatment for people who have been vaccinated. You'll be able to go to certain events. You'll be able to sit in certain sections. You don't have to socially distance. Now, why is that? Because they've already said that if you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID and spread COVID. So why wouldn't you suddenly have to not socially distance just because you've been vaccinated? Does not make any sense. And the fact is, they should not be telling you you can't do this or that or go certain places without the vaccine. And how are you going to prove that you've had the vaccine? And honestly, I think that this is a clear-cut HIPAA violation. HIPAA states that you have to give formal consent before anyone can share your personal health care information. Your health information, and this is the main one, your health information can't be used for anything other than healthcare purposes. So please tell me how getting on an airplane or going to a football game or baseball game or a concert or sitting in a certain area, that is not a healthcare purpose. That is not a legal, valid reason to force you to tell somebody what sort of medical or health procedures or services that you've had done. HIPAA compliance protects, and it states this specifically, details about healthcare services provided to you. You do not have to disclose that information, and you do not have to disclose that information for anything other than healthcare purposes. And all these things that good old King Inslee is proposing are violations of the HIPAA laws. So on top of all this special treatment you're going to get if you've had the vaccine, you've got all these universities and colleges in the state of Washington now saying that kids have to have vaccines before they'll be allowed to come to school. Again, this is not a healthcare purpose. And here's something else that's a little questionable. University of Washington and Pacific Lutheran University are telling students that they have to have vaccines, but staff does not, because you cannot force employees to have a vaccine to go to work, but somehow you can force students to have a vaccine to go to school. Where are the lawsuits on this? According to the Washington Department of Health, 5,642,156 people have gotten the vaccine in our state as of Thursday, May 6, 2021. And the percent of deaths, total deaths in this state from COVID still remains down at 1.4%. Why are we continuing to do all of these regulations and restrictions, and everybody has to have this or that to go anywhere or do anything now, for a disease that has a 1.4% death rate? Why are college kids required to have a vaccine when they are the least affected group of people by this disease. And so I stand corrected. Actually, later in the day, after recording the first part of this, I saw an article that Evergreen State College is actually going to require their staff and faculty to be vaccinated as well as students. And I'm still at a loss as to how they can require this of people to come to school. It just doesn't seem legal, and I'm wondering where the lawyers. Where is the ACLU on this deal? Why aren't they standing up for our rights? Wasn't it my body, my choice? Doesn't that apply here as well? Democrats sure love to coin that term when it came to abortion, but for vaccine, that's completely different, right? And I know they're going to say that, they're completely different, but not really. You shouldn't have to put anything into your body that's untested or not approved by the FDA. And these vaccines are not approved by the FDA. They've been given emergency use authorization, but they are not approved. So nobody really knows if they're completely safe, considering the fact that normal vaccines take 10 years to develop and test properly before they're turned loose on the public. And this one took a whole 8 months to develop, and we're the ones that they're testing it on instead of a normal test group that they would operate with. So I don't know, it's interesting that so many people have been so eager to get this thing. I guess people just want the incentives and want to believe the government will give them back their normal life if they get this thing. But I don't think we're ever really going back to complete semblance of normal. This is about control, and they've seen how easily people will fall into line and be controlled. And they're not going to give that up. When the government does something, they never take it back. They only expand on whatever that they've initiated. How far is this thing going to go? I mean, are we going to have to carry a little vaccine passport on our phone or some other form of identification or mark? Does this mean that we won't be able to go shopping or buy groceries if we haven't been vaccinated? Can't go in the grocery store? I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. If you've been vaccinated, then you're safe, right? Why do you care if I or somebody else doesn't get the vaccination? And I know the big argument is, well, I've got autoimmune disease or this or that, so I'm susceptible and I can't get the vaccine. Well, then wear a mask or you socially distance. But that doesn't mean the whole of society has to cater to your problem. That's unfortunately your problem, and you need to deal with it in the best way that you see possible or the safest way you feel. But that doesn't mean the rest of us can't open our businesses, can't go on about our daily lives. I can't think of any other time in history where we have suddenly catered to the minority of people who have some issue. That doesn't make any sense. If you have a problem, a health problem or whatever, then you need to deal with that. You need to, like I said, take care of yourself in the way you see fit. But that doesn't mean society caters to your needs or has to get shots or carry papers or can't leave their house or can't open their business. It makes absolutely no sense at all. And as usual, the government is too fast to be there and let no crisis go unused, unwasted. They They've taken advantage of this situation in every way possible to expand government and take away freedoms and have more control over the population. And if you can't see that, I'm sorry, but that is exactly what's happened. And it's only going to continue to get worse because people are going to allow that to happen. Use your common sense, folks. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Occam's razor. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Behind the Line podcast. I hope you will subscribe to the channel so you can get regular updates. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, I hope you will also like it, share it, and subscribe on YouTube as well. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Spreaker. We're on various other podcast platforms. And you can find me on LinkedIn under John Washington. Again, thank you for listening. We appreciate your support.